Doot, doot. So I've got these yoga blocks, which are very helpful when you're just starting out. If you don't have anything like this, a book or something to bring the floor up to you can be really helpful. I'm actually sitting on one right now as we get started to bring the hips up a little bit higher. I find that that's a little bit, it's a little more accessible to sit with your hips higher than the knees, especially when you're just starting out. So we'll come into a comfortable seated position. Hands can rest on the thighs here. We're going to sit up really, really tall. Just draw the chin down, and we'll close the eyes. And just take this moment to see what everything feels like. We're going to deepen our breath, really expanding into the belly. Welcome, Subu. We're just starting with our breathing. So with the eyes closed, we're consciously taking control of our inhale and exhale. We're really drawing out the length of time to breathe air in and breathe air out. And as you're slowing your breaths down, feel where you're breathing the air into. What I mean by that is, are we breathing into the ribs, or can we breathe down into the belly? And for that, we need to really relax the muscles to fill and expand. Good. And it's nice. We're giving the mind a little bit of an anchor by asking it to pay attention to your breath. It's hard to think about what's going on, what happened in your day, or what else you have to do today when you're thinking about, oh, I'm really inhaling big. I'm inhaling down into my belly. And I'm exhaling. And if this isn't something that you do often, taking control of your breath, slowing the breath down, this is a really nice tool to help calm your nervous system. And it's this type of breath that we want to stay connected with as we move through some poses today. Feeling how these long inhales and exhales start to calm the body, start to center the mind. Good. Drop the chin down towards your chest, slowly taking the head into some circles. No need to rush. Noticing if you feel any tightness anywhere in the neck. Really good if you've been sitting at a desk. Somebody asked, Ellie asked, if this sitting position is important. No, you don't have to sit exactly like this. Just a seated position that's comfortable for you. But that's why I do have my hips elevated, so that it's a little bit easier. Switching the directions of the neck. And even if you're just watching and not doing the practice, these first neck and shoulder movements can be really nice. Nice. Let's bring the head back to center here. Taking the shoulders up, back, and down, scooping around. Taking it nice and slow here. You don't need to be in any sort of rush, no hurry. In fact, we use this opportunity to move slowly so that we can gather information, we can understand what's going on through the body. Let's change directions of the shoulders. Wonderful. Good. Let's drift the arms up to a T, and we're going to close the palms into a fist. You might even stick your thumbs up for easy reference here. We're going to take the right thumb and turn it downwards. The left thumb turns upwards. And I'm actually going to reach over to that upturned hand to the left side. Inhale, come back to center here, both thumbs up. And exhale, let's reverse it. So the left thumb turns down, the right thumb turns up and continues to go in that direction. So I imagine wringing the towel. We inhale back to center, exhale to one side. Good. Keep going with these. I'm just going to talk a little bit. You'll find that you hit a natural stopping point where, that's the end of the rotation there, but you can squeeze a little bit more out of it. Very similar to that sensation of wringing the towel. So we're working some internal and external rotation through the shoulders. Going at your pace. I'm going at the pace of my breath. So I'm exhaling to one side, inhale back to center, and exhale. Good. Let's come back to the middle. You can shake the arms out there, shake the wrists out. We're going to take the thumbs and connect them to the shoulders. Okay, so they're super glued to the shoulders here. We're going to take those bent elbows for a little bit of a swim. Moving nice and slow. I'm trying to create the biggest circle I can with both elbows, both forward and behind me. So you can see that as I swim these bent arms, I'm trying to maximize the circle, which brings my torso into a little bit of a rotation here. I feel really good. Start to feel the muscles of the trunk waking up. Definitely feeling some activation between the shoulder blades. Let's reverse it. Kind of like a backstroke action if you've done any sort of lap swimming. And feel free to allow the spine to get into it a little bit. Like if you start to ride a rhythm, I'm going to go a little faster so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You'll notice the trunk may start to rotate. Go with it. Feel that fluidity. I let my super glued thumbs slip a little bit here. Good. Let's release that down. Just a few expanding breaths here. Inhale, big swoop the arms upward. And exhale, arms down to your side. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, big swoop. Exhale. Last one here. This time on your exhale, hands are going to come down in front of you. We're going to roll forward onto all fours. Nice. We're going to move the spine here a little bit with our cat-cow. Inhale, arch. And exhale, we're going to round down. I'm feeling some soreness today from some workouts. And throughout the practice, you may be checking in with your body too. How does it feel? Do you feel open? Do you feel energized? What do we got here? You did some practices in PE, but standing, although it was much faster and really not with the breathing. Yeah, these movements, they show up in other practices. And you'll probably notice some crossover from time to time. And I like bringing in movements from strength, mobility, animal flow, and I like bringing that into the yoga practice as well. So take a few moments here to go a little freestyle with your cat and cow, right? So that could be sideways. I could bring the head and the neck into the equation. I like to move my hands in different positions and feel what kind of just movement I can find, like good space that my body's asking for. Nice. There you go. Moving the body around. Let's feel our puppy pose. So as we bring ourselves back to all fours, we maintain this vertical stack of the thighs. Just walk the hands further forward. Okay, so tush stays up into the air. Chest is going to reach down towards the floor. Now I'm looking forward to get that extension of the back and into the neck. I've got active arms here. They're reaching out and pushing down into the floor. Good. I just wanted to do a little bit of upper body stuff. Today's going to be a lot more lower body, but I do want to spend a little bit of time opening this up. So we'll inhale, lift the chest back up, walk the hands back underneath you. So let's do a couple of our controlled hip circles here. So from our tabletop, push down into the floor. Feel really spread fingers. We're going to hover the left knee off of the ground. Kick the heel up towards the sky. Maintaining your bracing through the trunk. Kick up. Feel the booty. Feel the hamstrings. Now as we open that knee, the ankle comes a little closer to the ground, and now I'm starting to look like a dog that's at a fire hydrant here. And I'm going to try to kick that knee up towards my armpit and then bring it back to the midline until the thighs are parallel. And then we'll reverse that direction. So we bring the knee up to the chest. We open it really wide, really, really, really wide. Keep pushing down into the floor. Rotate the ankle to the sky. And we return back to our starting position. We're going to do 2 more of those, and then we'll switch to the other side. So we kick the heel up all the way around, as big a circle as you can make. We're not getting lazy here. Knee is going to come up towards the elbow and finish that circle. It's tempting to go about halfway up, but we want to make sure to maximize so we can get better. Knee comes up, knee opens out. Ankle to the sky. Good. We've got 1 more there. Kick up and back. All the way around. And reverse direction. Knee up towards the chest and chin. Opens wide. Over the hurdle. And there we go. Good. Place that left knee down on the ground. We're going to reach that right leg straight back behind you and then cross over your midline to step out onto the left edge of your mat. So we're just getting a little bit of a hip stretch out of that out of the left hip. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if this is a better angle. No, about the same. So I like to kind of dig around here, scoop a little bit. Yeah, nice. And you can find the angle that works for you. Maybe just off the left edge of your mat. Maybe you're going way off. And that really gives you kind of the early parts of pigeon pose. Nice. Good. Let's come back to center. And lower that right knee. Let's do the whole thing on that right side. Same idea here. Going through those big hip circles. So all fours, we push the floor away, feel strongly braced through our trunk. We're going to kick that right heel up towards the sky. Big opening here. As high as you can. We're going to try to bring that knee up towards your elbow, your tricep, or your armpit, and then finish that circle. Reversing the direction, knee comes up, knee opens out. circles around. Very good. That's one. We're going to do 2 more just like that. Move slowly in these. Try to make your circle bigger. How do we know if the circle is bigger? If you feel more muscles working. That's probably an indicator that you've made your circle a little bit larger, and that's how we gain range of motion. Reverse direction, the knee comes up towards the chest and the chin. Knee opens out wide. Woo! It's a really nice little hip check in here. Last time, heel to the sky. Knee comes up and over that hurdle. Here's that dog at the fire hydrant. I keep pushing down in the floor. Knee comes up towards the elbows. Woo! There it is. Reverse it and we're done. Knee up, knee open, ankle to the sky, and we finish. So the right knee plants down onto the ground. Left leg kicks up and back. It's going to cross the midline and step off the right edge of your mat. Okay? So the more I sink down into this, the more of a stretch I get out of my outer hip. I realize I can have my mic like way away from my mouth, and it seems to be a little bit better. Then you don't have to hear me huffing and puffing, because you're probably hearing your own huffing and puffing. Good. So let's return back to normal, or back to all fours, I should say, and I'll get back to the top of my mat. I kind of turn side to side so you guys can get a better view. Let's come into our downward facing dog. So from all fours, we curl the toes under, push into the ground, send the hips to the sky. And from here, you can pedal your feet out. Knees don't need to be straight. Heels don't have to be anywhere near the floor. Just find what feels right in your body. Nice. Woo. Just kind of checking in here, seeing what's going on. So let's inhale. Raise that right leg up into the air. Zoop. As we exhale, we're slowly bringing it forward and stepping between the hands. It's okay if you don't land all the way up there. You can scooch it forward as much as you need to. Drop the knee. We'll inhale into our low lunge. So we got some downward force of that back leg into the ground. Imagining trying to drag this knee forward a little bit more. Another breath here. And exhale. Let's bring the hands down to the floor. And we're going to step that back foot to the top of the mat. We're in a forward fold. Ooh, hammies are sore. How are you guys feeling? Yeah, that downward dog is that inverted V position. So it looks like an A-frame. That's kind of like the standard yoga pose. Subu, I've got some people watching on Twitch, and they're pretty new to yoga, so I'll be answering questions just if you're like, wait, who is he talking to? Just to give you some context. Good. We're in this forward fold. You can grab opposite arms. You can slight shift side to side. And in any of these folds or positions, if your hamstrings don't want to do that, if the backs of the legs don't want to do that, simply bring in a bend, a softening into your knees. Yeah, Subu, we've got Ellie joining us from Serbia today. She's never done any yoga or is very limited, very new to yoga, so excited to have her here. We're going to bring the hands to the shins. Inhale. We're going to lift halfway up. It's a straightening out of the spine that we're looking for. And exhale. Drop into your forward fold. On the inhale, we come all the way up to standing. Arms sweep up. Reach to the sky. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Nice. Again, we inhale, big reach to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to inhale, hands to shins. We lift halfway up. And exhale. We forward fold. We're going to step back, this time with that left foot. And then the right foot steps back into plank, and we shift to downward facing dog. We're going to bring that right leg up into the air. And bend the knee, open the hips. So Ellie's asking, what do you do if you get dizzy in that pose? Which one, the forward fold? If you're in the forward fold, just make sure you can sit down for a second after that. Sometimes with changes in position, going from low to high, it can shift your blood pressure. You can drop it suddenly, and you can feel dizziness. So just take it slow, especially if you're just getting into this. Good. Square the hips, lower that right leg down. Left leg up into the air. But good question, yeah. We don't want to be dizzy in these poses. So if you need to, a good resting position. We're still in three-legged dog, but I just want to demo for anybody watching. If you need to just chill out, knees come wide, and we're in this child's pose. This is always a good recovery pose to be in here. You can even rest your forehead. Good. So from down dog, yeah, exactly. Deep breathing to that same breath that we started class with will be really helpful to kind of regulate that blood pressure again as well. Again, I'm not a doctor, but if you have blood pressure issues, definitely talk to your doctor. So we're going to bring that left foot forward, stepping it between the hands, or that's where we're aiming. If you go halfway up, you can use your hand to help it the rest of the way. Drop the knee. We're in our low lunge. So again, to recap, we've got downward pressure into the floor. So I'm trying to press my shin down into the ground, and I'm imagining trying to drag my right knee forward. You can't even really see it, but it adds to the intensity of this stretch internally. Not a lot going on externally. Good. We're breathing in. And exhale, hands to the floor. Lift the back knee. We're going to step it forward. We're in a forward fold at the top of the mat. You can let the head dangle here. If you want a different variation in your forward fold, you can clasp hands behind your back here, straighten the arms, and then allow those fists to fall away from the tailbone. And your poses and shapes don't need to look exactly like mine. You are the guide. I'm just kind of guiding you along the way. I should say you are in your body. You know better. You know what things feel like. We want to find that comfortable edge. We don't want to find pain or discomfort. From your forward fold, if you had the arms clasped and overhead, bring the hands back to the tailbone and down to the floor. We inhale, bring hands to shins. We lift halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Let's use an inhale. Sweep the arms, come all the way up to standing. Arms reach tall. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Good. Inhale, big reach. Feeling the rib cage lift up higher. Exhale, we're forward folding. Hands come to the shins. We inhale, looking to lift up halfway. So the spine, the chest lifts. And exhale, plant the hands. We're going to take a big step back with the right leg. Boop, boop, boop. Then the left leg steps back into plank. We shift up and back, down dog, but that leg lifts up into the air. Okay, we're going to bend the knee and stack the hips open. If it feels good to circle that knee around into the air, feel free. But again, this is an all levels class, so if you need to take it more mellow, go for it. If you want to ramp it up, definitely do that too. This is your practice. I'm just carving out that space and that time for you to be here, to be in your body. Good. Let's straighten that left leg and lower it down. I just don't want to kick my bookshelf back there. So I want to go through a little bit of a flow. It's going to move a little bit. So I want to show you the sequence, and then we'll kind of flow through it a little bit faster. Basically as fast as your breath. So we're going to inhale that right leg up into the air. We're going to bend the knee and open the hip. Feel that abdominal stretch. And then as you exhale, we're going to step that right foot between the hand. We're inhaling up to a high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Straighten the leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Plant the hands. Step it back, three-legged dog. That's our sequence. So we're going to bend the knee, open the hip, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, we come up to our high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Straighten the leg as much as it will go. Inhale, forward bend into the knee. Exhale, step it back, downward dog or three-legged dog. We inhale, open the hips. We're going to do this about 5 times. Exhale, so you'll get a chance to get into the rhythm of it. We inhale into our high lunge. Exhale. Gina, I see, is taking texting pose. And we straighten the leg. I'm just messing with you. Inhale, forward bend. Runner's lunge. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, open the dog up. This is our 4th of 5. Exhale, just getting into the rhythm of the movement. And it doesn't have to go super fast. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Straighten the leg. Exhale, rebend. Step back. Three-legged dog. Last time we inhale, open the hips. I think I'm off on my breathing, but it's okay. Exhale. Stepping it forward. Yes, called teenager's pose. Inhale, arching out. Teenager pose is when you're on your phone and in yoga. Exhale, hands to the floor. Straighten the leg. Good. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, three-legged dog. Nice. Good. Exhale. This time we're going to bring the knee forward, but we're going to swivel the shin so that we come into our pigeon pose on this side. So we'll settle. I don't typically do full-on pigeon. If this is a lot, you can always sit on your right hip and bring your left knee up into a forward bend. So we've got kind of this modified pigeon shape where you can still square your chest and come forward. I like this variation, especially if your hips tend to be a little bit tighter, because we still get all the benefits of a traditional pigeon pose. But it's a little more friendly on the hip. But if you want to go traditional pigeon, that back leg straightens, and I'm going to roll my whole pelvis over. But notice, look, I've got some gap here. So what I would want to do is take a block or a rolled up blanket or a pillow and close that gap. So now when my body feels confident that there is an end point to this stretch, it can let go a little more easily. Because we do have some mechanisms in the body when we're trying to stretch where when the body feels the muscles lengthening, but it's not sure when that lengthening will end, we have a protective mechanism where the body actually tightens up to save the muscle from just being stretched to oblivion and ripping, right? So in giving the muscle an endpoint, it has more confident to say, it has more confidence to say, oh yeah, I can actually let you stretch into that position. Good. Okay, so we're going to come up from our pigeon. We had our nice chillax time in that pose. But now, depending on where you were, if you were in full pigeon, let's come to that modified shape that I was just showing. So we bring that back leg up, and now we find ourselves in this 90-90 shape. We're going to do some active work through the hip and then resume. We're going to go back into that pigeon pose. So from your 90-90, we're looking at those knee angles there. We're going to rotate the sternum, that chest bone, to be in line with our thigh bone here, with our front thigh. Okay, so you can use your hands here. We're going to get tall in the chest as we inhale. And exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Keep the spine long. Use downward pressure into the leg to bring you back up. Okay, so you can use a little bit of the hands to help you here. I'm not using my arms to push me up. I'm actually trying to use downward force of the leg into the ground to support me. So you'll see a harder variation is actually arms across the chest. We hinge forward, press down to lift up. We'll do about 5, maybe 8 of these. This is kind of the strength piece that I like to bring into this there. Go ahead, Subu. Keep going. You can roll your left shoulder forward. Roll that left shoulder forward. Yes, there we go. And that just winds us up. That'll give you more intensity of stretch through that right hip. Whoo! So what I like to do, a cue that will help you keep your spine long, is imagine that you have a point right here in the middle of your chest, like your little Tony Stark battery pack thing, whatever he has. And we're going to aim that over the knee. And these become harder the lower you go and or the higher you put your arms. All right, so hands overhead becomes harder. Hands reaching overhead, even harder. Holding a block, arms overhead, even harder. And I'm not going to do that because my hips are already pretty sore. But there are levels to this. Nice. Once you've done about 100 or so, we're going to drop into 99, 100. You got it. Okay. We're going to drop down into that passive pigeon again and see if there's any changes there. Whew. I just straighten that leg for just a second. So maybe if you were in the modified pigeon here in this 90-90, leaning forward, after you do some of that active hip stuff, maybe you find that, whoa, holy moly, my normal pigeon is a lot more open. Ooh, but my hip is, I'm going to listen to my hip today. It is grumpy from yesterday's workout, so I'm going to stay modified. But let's go back into a fully relaxed pigeon stretch. Ooh, I just need to shake that out. Shake it out, shake it out. Allie, how are these feeling for you? Are you able to do some of these, or are you just kind of watching along and getting an idea? Keep in mind, my classes are a little bit different from normal yoga classes. Or from your typical yoga class. I shouldn't say normal. Good. We got that whole flow sequence coming up on the left side. Yeah, they're more fun. Exactly. These classes are fun, says the invisible yogi. Oh, there she is. All right, so we're going to come up. We're going to place the hands on the ground. If you were in your modified pigeon, we're going to straighten that back leg and curl the toes under. So as we push the floor away, we lift that knee up, send it up and back. Feel your three-legged dog with that right leg in the air. Bend the knee and open the hips. My goodness, that's going to feel so good. Now, if you know how to flip your dog, there's an option to go there now. I'm just going to demo it. Don't feel like you have to do it in your body, especially if you're kind of new. So bend the knee. We're going to kick the hips open, right? I'm going to peek under my armpit. If I can see my foot, which I can, I'm going to guide it to the floor. It's going to drop my whole body into this inversion because I was inverted.
Okay, so this is called flipping your dog or waterfall pose. It'll feel really nice after you've been in done all that pigeon stuff. That bird is crazy. Let's come back to that midline. So that right hand reaches towards the floor and it pulls everything back to the midline. Lower that foot there. Let's just feel a down dog. Feel the difference between the left and the right side. I don't usually do that. I was like a super mega long sequence on the right side and then the left, but when I do, I don't always do a long sequence on one side, but when I do, I like to appreciate a familiar pose and just see what my left side versus my right side feels like. For me personally, I'm noticing my right heel is a little closer to the floor. Not that getting there wins me any prizes, but I just feel that difference. Good. So let's inhale forward to plank. Full vinyasa if you know it. Otherwise, we're going to lower the knees. Then the chest and the chin drop between the hands. Keep the butt into the air. As you inhale, slide everything forward. Belly's going to flatten, but the chest will lift. This is our cobra pose. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Nice. Take a few breaths here, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath here. We're making our way to the top of the mat. You can hop forward if you know how to do that. Otherwise, we're going to just tiptoe the feet forward. Let the head dangle. On your next in-breath, bring the hands to the shins, lift halfway up. We're looking to straighten that spine out. Exhale, release into that forward fold. We use an inhale to come all the way up. Big swoop the arms up towards the ceiling. Here I am. Oh. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Good. So we're getting ready for that left side, all that goodness on the left side. Breathing in, reaching up. Exhale, fold it forward. Yeah, you definitely can stretch your spine. All of this stuff is giving our spine a nice little flex. Inhale, or stretch, I should say. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, we're going to plant the hands. We're going to step into our plank and shift back to our down dog. If you're compelled to do a vinyasa in there, feel free to do so. So we'll inhale, that left leg lifts up into the air. We're going to do that whole little flow sequence on this left side for 5 rounds. Okay? So from our 3-legged dog, we're going to bend the knee, open the hips, right? So that we're stacking them vertically, or your left heel is kind of kicking off to the right side of your room. Let's take an in-breath here. As you exhale, bring that foot forward between the hands. Just follow along the best that you can. Inhale, coming up into our high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor, straighten that front leg. Inhale, rebend, look up. Runner's lunge, and exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, bend the knee, open the hips. Exhale, this is our second round of 5. Holy moly. We inhale up into that high lunge. Feel strong booty here. Exhale, hands to the floor. Straighten the front leg. Inhale, we're bending the knee, looking up. Runner's lunge, and exhale, 3-legged dog. That's 2. We inhale, open the hips. Exhale, stepping it forward. Runner's lunge. Inhale, up to high lunge. Hopefully by the 3rd round, you're starting to get it. Exhale, the hands come to the floor. And straighten the leg. Inhale, rebend the knee, looking up. Exhale, 3-legged dog. 3 down, 2 to go. Inhale, bend the knee, open the hips. Exhale, foot steps forward. Inhale, lifting up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor, straighten the leg. It doesn't need to get all the way straight. Inhale, bend the knee, look up. Exhale, three-legged dog. The three-legged dog. Good, last time here. Inhale, open the hips, stack them. Exhale, footsteps forward, the best of your ability. We inhale, high lunge. Exhale, hands plant, front leg straightens as much or as little as you can get it to. Inhale, rebend, look up. Exhale, three-legged dog. Oh. All right, so we're going to come into our pigeon here. So as this time, as the knee comes forward, we're going to pivot the leg so that we can land into our pigeon. Okay, so this is the more traditional pigeon. I'm trying to keep my knee angle open, but look, I've got all of this space here, so I'm actually going to use a block. You know what? I'm going to use 2 blocks because that's how tight this side feels. So yeah, now as we chill in our pigeon, or modified pigeon, which is just the back knee is bent, I can answer Ellie's question a little bit more thoroughly now. The flow of movements going from our forward fold, lifting halfway up, dropping down, and then standing all the way up, that is just kind of flossing out the parts of the spine. Because we're alternating between flexing the spine, rounding forward, and then lifting the chest, which gives us extension. So that action of rounding and extending the spine is a really nice way to start to get some healthy movement into the back there. And you can even do it sitting in a chair, right? You don't have to do these positions. I'm going to just do it out of pigeon. If you're deep in the stretch, you can just stay put. I just want to demo that even sitting upright, you can round and flex. Flex is rounding and extend is opening, right? So even in a seated position, you can do that stuff. But good question. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate them. Good. Okay. So, we got a little bit of that juicy hip stuff. We're going to do some active hip stuff and then go back to the juiciness. All right. So, we have got, let's see, I should turn so you can see me a little better. We've got the left foot forward. And if you were in your more traditional pigeon here, we're going to bring that back knee forward a little bit. So we've leaned over to the right hip. We're going to get into our 90-90 position here. Chest bone, or your Tony Stark power orb, is going to square up to your thigh, your left thigh. Keeping the spine long, using as little of the hands as possible. Maybe we go fingertips or arms along the chest here. We're going to hinge forward and press back up. Okay, so we'll do about 5 to 8 of those there. But Subu, you look a little confused there. What's going on? You good? Man, this hip, I'm feeling my side is on fire. So I'm actually going to use a more regressed version because I had a pretty hard workout on my hips. So I'm going to listen to my body today and use just my fingers to help me here. But I'm not trying to push myself up with my arms. I'm really trying to isolate that movement from the hip. Good. And if you have any space underneath your knee here, like a draft under a door, see if you can press your knee down to close off that space. Even if it's just a little bit, we're going to try to keep that space closed. Another 1 or 2 here.
Do, 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 do. Okay. So we've done the active stuff. Permission to get juicy again. So we can just stay in our modified shape and drape, going into full passive, or you might try now to get into a more full pigeon pose. That just isn't feeling good in my hip today, so I'm going to stay modified and I'm going to keep it mellow. Nice little hip class today. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! That's all I got. Yeah, thanks, Gina. Thumbs up. Cool story, bro. I get to watch all my zoomies on my screen up here. Maybe you can see it from this camera angle. I got my desktop up here. I get to see everybody. Alrighty. So we're going to come up and out of this. I'm going to rotate again so that I am forward. Actually, no, I have to stay on this side to demo the flipping of the dog. Okay. So let's plant the hands. We're going to straighten that back leg so that we can come into our three-legged dog again. This is going to feel really good after we've been in that pigeon. So we lift that leg up, bend the knee. I don't want to step on my stream deck there, but if you can see your heel, you can start to flip the dog. It is not mandatory. This is more advanced. All right, and I'm trying to push down into the floor to lift my hips as high into the air as I can. This is definitely intermediate to advanced. Don't feel like you have to do this, and always take rest whenever you need to. Good. Left hand lowers to the floor, brings everything back. Straighten that leg. Lower it down. Let's feel into our downward facing dog. See how it's feeling now that we've evened things out a little bit. Thumbs up on Zoom is the same as a slow random clap. Yep. Exactly. There's probably quite a bit of a delay on the Zoom and the Twitch. I'm guessing you have the Twitch muted, Gina, if you're on both. All right, so we're going to lower the knees. We're going to sit the hips to one side and swing the legs so that we're sitting forward. Let's just do a nice little hamstring stretch here. Just a good old forward fold. We're going to inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Oh. So if you want to just stay static here, we're in this forward fold shape. Sometimes I like to get a little fidgety in here. And I sit up a little straighter and I try to see if I can arch and round my back as much as possible. Right? Not required. I'm just trying to feel where my limits are. But notice I have to come up and actually connect, not to my feet, but to my shins to get any sort of chance of arching my back in this position. But some of you might just like to be in this forward fold and just chill, just hanging out. Good. Nice. Let's come on up and recline onto your back. We're going to bring both knees into the chest. Get this out of the way. Get out of here. You get out of there. We're going to bring that right ankle over the left knee. If you want to keep it mellow, left foot is on the ground, and we just push that knee away
And there's a little bit of a hip stretch. For more, we're going to grab through the thigh, either for the back of the left thigh, or you can go, yep, Subu, you're more intense by grabbing the front of the shin. And as you lean back to bring the head and the shoulders onto the ground, pull that knee into the chest, we get a nice figure 4 stretch through the hip. So a little bit of a variation here. You can stay put in this figure 4. If you want to try a little bit of a twist that is a little more hip-centric, we'll just lower that left foot to the ground. Notice where that right foot is aiming, and I'm just going to bring it to the floor. So all I've done is taken that figure 4 shape and just let that foot fall to the ground. Nice. And I'm actually holding on to the outer edge of my right foot and trying to push my knee away. Yeah, good, Gina. Yep. You can use your hand if you want more passive, but I like to do the active, kind of pulling the knee away from the body there. It's up to you. Nice little stretch. Good. So if you were in that twist, you can come back up to center, bring that right foot to the floor. Left ankle this time crosses over the right knee. Same options apply. You can just be here, pushing that knee away if your hips are feeling really, really tight. Level 2 is reaching for behind the thigh. The next step would actually be to reach forward and grab the shin and then lie back with it. All variations, we're going to be pushing that knee away from the body. Really feeling that stretch in the hip. And then you can take your optional twist, which involves planting that right foot down and then just allowing that left sole to land on the floor. I'm going to end up hitting my bed if I don't scooch. So I'm taking my right hand, I'm connecting it to the outer edge of the left foot. I'm trying to push the left knee away from me, either with the hand or actively through the hip. So the body is twisted, but most of the stretch is into the hip, less so the trunk. We'll do a legit spinal twist after this, but give it time. Nice. Coming back through center here, bring both knees into the chest. And you can circle the hips around. Should feel nice. Other direction. Slowing things down here. We're going to get into our final twists before Shavasana, or as Gina likes to call it, adult nap time pose, which is really nice. So we'll bring the knees into the chest. We'll allow the whole body to roll over to the right and allow the knees to settle. From here, the left arm reaches up and over. We're in that spinal twist. And it's okay. I mean, your arm might be way off the floor here to start. If it's uncomfortable, you can always use a block or a blanket or pillows underneath your arm, underneath your legs, or both. If you're fairly close to the ground, we can tap into the breath to help us get a little more unlocked. And here's what I mean by that. We're going to take a big inhale, which will be restricted by your twist. Try to breathe even more. And then as you exhale, feel the body just soften a little bit, like melted butter. 2 more times. Inhale. Get to the top. See if there's any more breath you can breathe in. Letting it all out. Melted butter even more. Yummy. Last time here, breathe into the tightest spot into this twist. Nice. And hopefully we felt a difference there between those 3 breaths. Let's come out of this twist nice and slow. Again, we'll bring the knees into the chest so that we can allow the body to fall, this time over to the left. We're going to take that right arm up and over and see where you settle. My bed's in my way here, but I'll do the best that I can. If you can't reach all the way out, cactus arm will totally work here. But Gina and Subo, you guys look like you both have room. Whoop! Class has begun. I must have hit my box there. All right, so let's use our breaths here. We're going to take a big breath in. You're going to hit a first stopping point, and then see if there's any more air. You can breathe in and exhale, let it soften. And when you do those big inhales, it might actually take you out of the twist, but the softening is so much more gratifying. Let's try it again. Big inhale. See if you can suck in any more air. Exhale, soften. Last breath. A little more. Nice. Nice and slow coming out of our twist. And we're preparing for final Shavasana. Legs are down the mat. Arms are alongside the body. Making yourself comfortable here is a priority. So even if it takes an extra minute, go for it. So if your low back's feeling a little stiff or tight today, you can wedge blocks or blankets underneath your knee. A pillow would work as well. Might be nice to cover yourself in a blanket or covering your eyes here. We'll close the eyes and just allow the body to breathe here. Nothing fancy in this pose. Just trying to feel the parts of your body today that were working. See if you can scan the legs, the muscles of the legs, and of the hips. We used them quite a bit today. Can you feel the echoes of today's practice in your hips? And it takes practice. It doesn't come easily necessarily to feel those subtle sensations in your body. But the more you practice it, the better you'll be at it, as with most things. And just seeing if there's one more part of your body that can soften. Maybe some muscles in the neck or in the face. Maybe you can release tension in the jaw.
Maybe the shoulders can drift a little closer to the floor. Allow the ground to hold you. Feel the breath deepening. A bigger rise and fall of the belly. And begin to move the fingers and toes. Taking the arms, reach them up overhead. Stretch out the body as you take an inhale. Open the mouth. You can stick your tongue out. One more time. Inhale. Stretch out the body. Nice. We'll bend the knees into the chest, allowing the body to roll to one side. And we'll come up to a seated position. All right, we're going to end with some Oms today. I've got my Shruti box back. Subbu, you probably remember the Shruti box from Mela. I don't know if my mic is going to pick it up, so what I'm going to do is take it off, put it in front of the sorry for all the noise. Put it in front of the Shruti box. You guys hear that? Alright, we're going to do 3 rounds of Om. Join in if you'd like. At least we know the note now. Hands can be in prayer, eyes can be closed. We'll take a breath in. Exhale everything out. Inhale for our first Om. Thank you for coming to class today. It was a pleasure teaching you. I'll be here on Thursday, and